sign my rights over saying that y'all read them off?
Yeah.
I got you.
Now listen to me.
This video shows the interview of a man who, after being involved in the murder of a man and his wife, later ended up shooting a 12-year-old boy in the head. Jimmy Lee Brooks Jr. was hardly anyone's idea of a killer. An average man in his mid-20s, his only real concern was paying his bills and keeping his girlfriend happy. His main downfall was being weak-willed. When he was offered an opportunity by Michael Carruth to make some money, Brooks was unable to turn him down. Even though he was reluctant to resort to violence, he managed to be directly responsible for 2 people. On January 30th, 2002, Brooks, along with James Edward Gary, went to the home of Thurman and Katherine Ratliff with the intent to rob them of the money believed to be kept in their safe.
This is Van Jackson. Van is with Lee County. Okay. This is Mike. This is Tom Franklin. Tom is with us here at the sheriff's office. And what we're going to do is we're simply going to kind of walk back through the events.
I'm going to start from the very beginning and tell you everything from
Day one.
last night. I'm going to be straight up.
You're going to do what now?
I'm going to tell you from the very beginning until all the way till last night.
Okay.
Brooks is willing to talk and has stated that he will tell them everything from the beginning right up to the murder. If he does, the case becomes much easier.
I'm going to tell you everything, even the shit that I did and everything else. I'm going to be straight
Well, you
up.
got to. If you don't,
But you're with Lee County,
Yeah, I'm with Lee
so
County.
you'll be able to help me a little bit on that shit up there.
You're gonna work with you, you know.
And you're going to be able to help me out.
that's right. Listen to me. We both will go to bat for you with our DAs. But listen to what I'm telling you, Jimmy. Understand that Van nor I are district attorneys or judges. We don't have the final say, they do, okay? Just understand that, so you don't think that I'm trying to buffalo you. I'm going to go to bat for you. I've worked with Van for years. He's going to go to bat for you, okay?
Right, before I start, I really got to tell you something though. On the guy with Butch, that man will have me killed in this jail. Okay, I'm being straight up with y'all. He'll have me killed in here. And I know this.
What are you talking about?
Butch, the guy that's still alive.
Right.
He'll kill me. I know for a fact I'll be dead when I go over here within 2 weeks. The guy with Lee County, when I'm going to come straight up tell y'all everything about that. Them people is mob related. I'm more or less dead anyways from right now when one picture hit the TV. I'm a dead man anyways. Because his son, big time mobster, Terry Ratliff. I'm
Well,
sure you probably know that.
But look, we'll get into all that in just a second, okay?
All right.
Just a second. How far did you go in school?
9th grade, and I went and got my GED from CDCC.
Okay. This is the written of what I told you earlier, okay? And that says you completed the 9th grade and got your GED at CBCC, so you can read and write.
Alright, man, I'm going to start from the very beginning. I got in all this how I even met Mike. I got in trouble for stealing the radios, like I told you. And when I got locked up, my bond was $45,000. No way I could get out.
And when was this?
This was in, I would say it's going to be about 7 months,
Okay.
6 months.
August,
Yeah, I think so.
around that time of 2001.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. And,
You was arrested for breaking into cars.
right, for stealing cars and shit. Matter of fact, my plea just got worked out. I'm not supposed to sign it tomorrow.
Okay.
But, fuck. Alright. Anyways, when he got me out, my family had no money to get me out. some reason he got me out. And,
All right, and when you say he,
Mike Carruth got me out of jail.
Mike Carruth is a bail bondsman,
Right, Tri-County.
Tri-County bondman.
Right.
And he got you out on bond
Right.
without you paying anything.
Right, my sister only paid $200 and my mother-in-law has her house up for it, but shit, it ain't but $20,000 is the value of her house.
Okay.
Alright, anyways. Okay, so I'm trying to do good when I first get out. I'm doing construction, framing and stuff, but I'm paying my lawyer and my bad check I had in Columbus. I wasn't able to pay Mike Carruth. Alright, and it had been like maybe 3 months I went down the road. And he come up to me and all, he's like, "Gee," he said, "Well, I need you to start paying me." He says, "If you don't, I'm going to have to lock you back up." I says, "Man, look, I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can right now." He says, "Well," he says, "if I work something other up, something other you can get you some money on," he says, "I'll come and get you and mention it to you. If you like it, we'll do it." So, well.
So he comes to you, tells you got to pay him, or he's going to lock you up.
Brooks has been in trouble with the law before, and he's been put in a tight spot. Pay back the money he owes or go to jail. This threat is something that will intimidate some people, but for others, it just makes them desperate enough to do just about anything to get out of the situation. Cerna takes a sip of water, replaces the cap, and then, without a pause, he removes the gun from his pants and raises it to his left temple. There is no hesitation.
Right.
And you say, "Okay, I'm doing the best I can."
Exactly.
And then he says, well, he's going to think of something for you to make money, and he'll come get you, tell you what it is. If you like it, y'all can do it.
Right.
Okay.
Alright. So, about another, he kind of just come by the house every once in a while, still fill me out a little bit for about a couple, 2 to 3 weeks, really. Coming back to the house off and on a lot. And I got in an argument with Kay, my fiance's mother, and I had to leave my camper that I was staying in behind her house with. Well, that left me with no place to go. He let me stay in his office over there across from the courthouse at the bonding company in the back. Well, I stayed there for a little bit, and I was about to lose my old lady because we were so down and out, and he'd given me $5 or $10 a day just to make it. All right, and he comes up, he says, "I want you to ride with me." I said, "Okay." We get in the car and we ride, just a little bit of small talk. He's more or less like, "You ready to make some money?"
So where are y'all riding?
In his Crown Vic, and we just mostly just driving in Phoenix City area. Right?
Okay.
I guess he felt safe in his car to talk. And we got in his car, we driving around, he's talking about it, and said, "You ready to make money?" Because I just got to tell him about it. I feel like she's about to leave me. Fiance. He's like, "Well, I saw that for you." And he mentioned the deal in Opelika. I don't even remember what the first names in the relation is, but I just knew of them.
So what did he say?
He says, well, he was mentioning it about, well, where can we get a lot of money at? He says, we'll just bust up in there and just some ski masks. Just hold them down. We just take the money and leave them.
Okay.
I'm like, well, I was like, I gotta think about that now. So that shit scares me, because I knew the people and I knew what it was about before it got caught.
So who brought up their names?
Who brought up them?
You or him?
I did.
Okay, so when he asked you who had money, you said,
Right, because see, I worked for the people and I worked in Opelika.
okay.
I worked for the man when I was repoing cars for him.
The old man or his son?
His son, Terry, in Boston.
Terry, okay.
Okay, and anyways, we got seen the house and all. We come by and looked at it, and when we got a good look at it, we waited till dark.
Okay.
When it got dark, see, this is that other guy I was also telling you about, James.
James.
Okay, see, he involved him on that when I started mentioning the place. He went and got him. And when we got him, it was more or less like a little crew or a routine we had going on that day. And we looked at the place, filled it out. He washed his car real good. He went and got us our little boggins that we didn't wind up using at all for some fucking reason. He told us not to. And he wound up getting us the guns.
How many guns?
It was 2. It was a Take 9 and just a regular 9. I don't know what kind of 9 it was. It's just a
Semi-auto.
Yeah, just a little small one.
Who had them?
Mike handed it to me.
And you had which one?
I had the little one.
The little regular 9mm.
Right.
Who had the Tech 9?
That's the black guy, James.
And where did it come from?
Uh,
From Mike?
To be honest, yeah, both of them come from Mike. You know,
Okay.
I was mentioning it to him and shit, and I was telling him about what type of people it was.
Both 9mm?
Yeah.
Or was one a different caliber?
No, both of them was
You sure?
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you, but they look like both nines to me. You know, I thought they were both nines.
Okay.
All right, and anyways, we're looking at the place, going by, checking it out, you know, and before all that, he really took us to a storage unit over there on Pierce Road.
Okay.
We had to clean it out. We had to pull up the Blazer that he has, that little red Blazer that he's got.
Mm-hmm.
We pulled it up in the garage there, and because we had to clean it out. When we pulled up the truck in there, me and the black boy James had to wait for Mike to come back. What Mike was doing, he was buying gloves, he was getting masks, he was getting, they had to go get together a gun, I believe is what it was. And when he come back, we was all getting it all ready and everything, and he was telling us how to do it, you know, watch out for hair falling off, you know, get you a good bath first.
A lot of preparations went into this, and it is doubtful that Brooks could have pulled it off by himself, considering his lack of money.
Wear your long sleeve shirts, he said they'll do all DNA tests, you know, they'll suck up the carpet from off the floor, you know, and find out everything. He says, be real careful what you do. He's like, wear some shoes you don't usually wear. He says, they'll be putting footprints and all that and figuring out, trying to find your shoes and matching it up to the prints in the dirt.
Mike is.
Mike's telling me all this, you know, he's trying to figure
And James.
And James. Okay, and I'm like, all right. You know, Mike's swinging by, going back and forth, you know, checking out the place. And this is the part no black I'm still talking about. When we got up there, we had to keep waiting for the cars to come by. There wasn't no cars when he could pull up because he used his Crown Victoria to do it because he's feeling sick because he got a cage in the back of the fucker and shit, you know. And he pulls up, he stops in behind that little cement store, you know, that little place right on the side of it. He pulls in the back side of it, you know, and the deal in the first of it, he was coming too. But now all of a sudden, the car can't be left there, it'll be seen. Somebody has to leave with the car, you know. And so he makes us get out. He gives us a walkie-talkie, and he's got one too. And 2 clicks for his trouble, and 1 click for trouble, 2 clicks for him to come back to get us.
So he drove off.
He gave us, handed us back the guns and shit, because I guess he didn't want us to hold them in the car. You know, both of them just got out of jail not long ago or whatever. And he handed them back to us. He's like, all right, y'all. He said, when you do your 2 clicks, I'll come back and get y'all right here at this spot. And we asked him what the problem was. Why didn't he come with us? And he's talking, you know, that he didn't want to leave the car. And it's his car, you know. And so we go ahead. You know, we didn't have no choice. There was no backing out of it once we did all that.
Were y'all on anything, Jimmy? Were y'all smoking dope, drinking?
Be straight up for real. I was not on, you know, I wasn't.
Nothing.
I ain't on nothing, no crack, no coke.
Okay.
None of that, you know. I do like to smoke weed. That's about it.
Okay. What about James?
James, all I know is that he sells coke, and I know he does weed. That's it.
Okay.
All right. And we go in there, you know, kick the door down, you know, do our little thing there, get the money from the place, and we leave, click it, he comes back, picks us up, pops his trunk.
Back up. What happened inside? Y'all 2 go in.
Yeah,
How do you get in?
the back door.
Did you kick it in? Did they come to the back door?
No, see what I did, we got up to the back of the place, cut the phone line,
Okay.
James, cut the phone line, as soon as we went up to the door, he opened up the screen door and I kicked the door.
The wood door.
Yeah, the wood door. He pulled back the glass screen door where I could kick the wood door. And when I kicked it, we automatically just rushed up in there.
Did you have a mask on?
No,
Did James?
no,
Gloves?
yeah,
You were wearing gloves.
no.
Okay.
And go in there, you know, get them down on the ground, get them, tell us where the money is. And before it.
Where did they come from? They were both in the living room, watching TV, reading a book. What were they doing?
Watching TV, I believe, because you know, like it just, you know, did that, so it's kind of hard to tell actually what they were really doing.
Okay.
But when we got up in there, both got on the ground, hysterical as hell. I keep having nightmares. That's why she was mad at me, like tossing and turning and shit in there. And got him on the ground, was asking where the money was. They told us that it was in the back. He says, I'm gonna watch you in here and you take her out the back and get it. I'm gonna walk back here over here to get it.
Now, hold on. The old man says it's in the back.
Right.
Y'all are asking where the money is.
Old man and the woman at the same time said it's in the
Both of them said it's in the back.
Right.
So then James says, I'll stay here with him. You take her in the back and get the money.
Right. He shoots the dude. He tried to shoot the dude in the ass. He hit him in the fucking right here.
Then?
Yeah.
Why?
Because that wasn't what was supposed to have been there. You know, just more or less.
What wasn't supposed to have been there?
From what it was told, it was supposed to have been a safe. There was no safe.
But he shot him after you came back up?
No, he shot him whenever he was asking where the money was, and they said, it's just, you know, they said, what money, what we got is in the back. Boom.
Apparently, they had been misinformed about the location of the money. Shooting someone before getting all of the information not only ensures that you won't be getting the money, but it also brings the charges up from armed burglary to murder.
Shot him.
He shot him.
Right. He tried to shoot him in the ass, but he got him in the back. Or got
Okay.
him back in the kidney.
One shot.
Right there. Alright. And so I get the woman up and take her in the back. When we take her in the back, I ask her where the money is, you know, and she's about to give it to me. And as soon as she reaches down to get it, she tries to grab a revolver out from there and swing it around on me. You know, and she almost fucking shot my head off.
Did she fire?
No, she didn't fire. Well, when she come around, she was pulling the helmet back, and I grabbed it and knocked it out of the way. And when I did, I shot her. And
Where'd you shoot her?
right here in this elbow, because that was the only thing I could get, because I was fighting with her, and then I had, you know, get her off of me, because she was trying her best to fucking pull that hammer back and shoot me with that revolver. And I shot her with that, and all she tried to do is just switch arms on me, and, you know, try to shoot me again. You know,
So she was still holding the revolver?
right, she was
Okay.
still holding him, you know, like, God damn, woman, you know, I did not want to kill him.
Right.
You know, the whole plan is what he had planned out from us for fucking 3 to 4 days straight, was that you go in there with your past, that way you can just leave them alone and just get what you want.
Right.
One woman getting ready for it, he's like, y'all need to just leave y'all's mask here, it's dark. Well, it ain't fucking dark in the house, you know? And you gotta have some light to see. And so anyways, he was like, well, he says, if you have to kill him, kill him. He says, y'all make y'all's choice. He says, really, since y'all tell me that it's more or less mob related, and I kind of heard about it too, he said, just bump it. He said, that way I ain't gotta worry about it, and I ain't gotta worry about them coming for me once they get to y'all. So we in there, you know, we got the money and everything. He was looking
Well,
around.
let's back up. You and her are still struggling.
Yes.
She still has the gun. You've shot her one time.
Right.
What happens after that?
Okay,
You're still in the bedroom.
Right. So I shot her in that elbow there, and she tried to switch around and use the other arm. I shot her in the knee. Told her, just look, quit, you know.
So then you shot her in the knee when she tried to switch hands with the gun.
Right. And she went down onto the ground and just stayed there.
Okay.
You know, and I was like, look, why don't you just fucking quit? That's all I want.
She's still holding the gun? Did you get the
I
gun?
got the gun before she went to the ground.
Okay.
And I got the gun up, threw it on the bed, you know. And she's laying on the ground, and I got the money up, you know, was looking at it. James come back in and he says, what'd you get? I handed it to him, you know, before he could go on off and, you know, just hold it. Because I had to, you know, grab that gun, put it back, you know, under the bed this time instead of where it really was. And,
So you put the gun under the mattress?
yeah, not under the mattress, but under the bed itself, you know.
Under the bed on the floor?
On the floor, yeah.
put a little 38 revolver?
Man, I really don't know what kind of gun it was. I just know it was a revolver.
Okay.
And, what was it? Oh, okay.
You
Now
handed
when
the
I-
money to,
Yeah, when I handed in the money to it and all, he was like, well, all right. He started fumbling around the house for more to see if there was any more money. He says, well, there's nothing else here. He says, I'm gonna want you to kill her. He says, I gotta make sure that you win this with me. You know, that was my very first person, you know. Yeah. Eventually wound up doing it, like he's just sitting there arguing with me. Fucking do it, motherfucker, do it. And once I did, you know, and he walked in there and he popped the dude that was in the living room laying on the floor, right there in the living room.
so you popped her where?
I popped her in the head.
You shot her in the head. Back of the head, front of the head.
Although Brooks had tried to avoid killing the woman, ultimately he made the choice to shoot her in the head. He seems upset by this fact, since she was the first person he had killed.
It's okay. You're getting it off your chest.
I just know I'm gonna get dead, man, that's all. Popped her in the head. When we was walking out, he shot him.
He shot him in the head.
Yeah,
Did he only shoot him twice? Once in the back and once in the head?
and in the hand.
He shot him in the hand.
And in this hand right here.
Why did he shoot him in the hand? What was that?
Just mostly to make sure that's all money. You know, that's all he did there. And as soon as he did, you know, we had our money, we walked on out, closed the door behind us, and just walked around the backside, jumped over the fence and left.
What about the click in the radio?
The click in the radio, we had to do that whenever you get to the building.
Okay.
Whenever we got out across the field, over the fence and behind the building, we clicked it twice, and we had him wait. And he was actually late to come pick us up and was fucking washing his car. And when he finally come up there, he popped the trunk, we put the guns and the money in the back of the trunk, and closed the trunk back, got in the car. He was asking, did everything go okay? You did kill him, didn't you? You sure they're dead? How much money did y'all get? You sure that was all of it? Y'all ain't trying to keep none? No, blah, blah. And after that,
How much money was it? Total. Not your cut. How much was it?
30,000.
30,000.
It was
10 apiece.
And anyways, once I got back with my money, you know, I knew, because since I didn't have nothing, it was living in a fucking business office, you know, no place to really stay. I couldn't just go out and start getting me a place, everything I needed again, you know, so I had to kind of do it slowly. And that way, her mama and I didn't want me thinking something was wrong, you know. And, or my old lady, because she would have left me a long time ago. She would have been thinking about shit like that. And
I saw a receipt, Jimmy.
transmission.
You gave, that money was from the Lee County robbery. How much money was that?
$1,680.
You gave that money to who? Your mom-in-law?
No, I gave it to the man at Transco named Chris.
For who? Was that for your truck or something?
No, I was fixing her mama's truck.
Okay.
You know, it'd been down for over a year, and it's a '93 Ford, and they got an old piece of shit white car that runs hot and shaking real bad on them. They can only make it halfway up the road to the store and back.
So with the money from Lee County, you fixed that truck?
Right. You know, I kind of wanted to help. You know, I wanted to help my family that was down, because everybody was down. You know, if it weren't for food stamps, we wouldn't have ate. You know. And
What else happened to the money? That was almost 2,000 right there.
Yeah, and let's see, I bought a little bedroom suit in the back. I did buy like, I think it was 3 pounds, just to fuck around with.
Of marijuana?
Right.
How much was that?
That's all I fuck with. That was around, right at 2,500.
Okay.
For what?
So that's almost 4,500 right there.
Right. just on some, like on another, probably about 1,500, just mostly went up on those. You know?
Cocaine?
Right.
Okay.
Brooks described what happened with his cut of the robbery money, but a good portion of it seems to have gone for drugs.
And just the rest of it, you know, it was just like nice places going out to eat, you know, just the TV, you know, just
Where did you buy the bedroom suit from?
you know,
Where?
I went to both. I went to one on Daragorn Valley, the 2-day one, and I went to the one on 80 to get, you know.
You bought a TV?
Yeah.
From where?
At the flea market on, I mean, the one on Highway 80. And I bought my bedroom suit on the one on Highway 80 from a washer.
In front of Ladonia School?
Yeah, that's the thing. And the washer, I got it from the flea market, you know. Just basically, you know, some of it I'd already had, but a portion of it was mostly from what I had wanted to do to keep all of it.
Okay.
And long story short, you know, just I ain't no fucking dope dealer because I fucking lost out on my ass big time on it, you know. It was my first time ever trying it, and it did not work for me, you know, and I just couldn't.
So you didn't make any money?
I didn't make no money. I just wound up losing all that fucking money and shit, really, you know. And
Well, let me ask you this. When y'all left and you put the guns and stuff in the trunk, what happened to the guns?
Mike said he'd take care of them.
Mike said he'd take care of both guns. You never saw what happened to the guns.
I did see what happened to him. What he did, he went to his house in the Grange on Clark Street. Right? And when he went up there, he took him into the house. He drilled out the barrels with some kind of a little drill bit, you know, for forensics when he picked it up or whatever. He tore down the tech, you know, stripped it out, rubbing alcohol all over them and stuff, you know. And just mostly disassembled them all and cleaned them up. And I don't know where he dropped them off at. And for real, I don't know, because I wasn't there for that part, because I had to leave to be with my woman where she wouldn't be mad at me for me being gone.
Was this the same day?
No, actually, when he did that the next day or the day before. I'm really not sure on that. I know it wasn't no farther than that.
Okay.
And anyway, where he did it was at that place on Clark Street in LaGrange. And that's mostly where his tags on his cars, that all goes back there if you don't want that address or something. And after that, you know, I really don't know what happened to the guns. He said he got rid of them. I don't know where he did, where he put them at though. But after all that, you know, then I started running low on my money again. And
Do you know what James or he did with his money?
he bought more cocaine to sell. He's a coke dealer.
He bought coke with his money. What about James?
That's all that you was talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry. What about Mike?
Mike, he paid off forfeitures from the courthouse, and he paid off, what the hell, Arthur Breslin. He paid him $1,100 of that money that went there, because Arthur was like part of his business.
Arthur who?
Greaslin,
Geeslin?
Yeah, I think I said Greslin is how you spell it. I just seen his business card. And anyways, you know, that's most of where a lot of his money went. But the other portion, the main portion of it, was when he took that 8-day trip. And that 8-day trip was finding out who he needs to see about rounding up the right kind of dirt for that hydro, the special kind of hydro they were growing. How to clone that hydro plant, you know.
And when you're talking about hydro, Jimmy, you're talking about a plant, a marijuana plant that's especially grown. It's more potent than the normal marijuana plant.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And it's more or less of a science to it instead of just grabbing your seed, throwing it in the dirt.
Okay. But I just want to be clear what you're talking about.
Right. I'm talking about marijuana when I say hydro. And see, that's his whole purpose in getting that money right there, is what he said. See, he needed it to where he can work up the deal for the hydro with Rick and his son. Rick was getting $1,000 off of each pound.
Well, let's slow down a minute, okay? Let's make sure we're all on the same sheet of music. James mainly, as far as you know, bought most of his money from the Lee County robbery. He spent most of it on cocaine.
And he's got like,
Do you know anything else that he bought with that money?
no, because actually he told me he put like 3,000 or 4,000 of it up.
Okay.
And, you know.
And Mike, you think he paid some court stuff
I
with
know he
his
did. I know
to the
he
Russell County Courthouse?
To the Russell County Courthouse. One of the judges was giving him a hard time about not paying one of the forfeitures that he had coming up that he had been paying.
Surprisingly, Brooks knows quite a bit where the others spent their money. The payments to the courthouse, in particular, should be easy to verify.
So he had to go and pay that forfeiture.
A bond forfeiture?
Yeah, bond forfeiture.
Okay.
And he had to pay like 4 or 5 different forfeitures because that damn bonding company is nothing but a front for whatever it is he's really got going on the side. Because when I stayed at his office, I realized that myself. And because he never would do no fucking bonds. I never see him going out picking up nobody. He only picked up one person that I've ever known of since I've known him, man, for the fucking whole 8 months or so that I've been out, really.
So tell me, from there, tell me how you brought up a guy's name named Rick. Who is he and how does he come into
Rick
play?
is a state constable that hangs out mostly around Hurtsboro area, and Mike Carruth pays his gas bill, you know, shit like this for him to drive around. Because they talking about somebody here in the county giving old Rick a hard time or wanting him some bullshit. And anyways, he's paying his bills and shit like that to butter him up so he can get the deal with the hydro. Because see, this hydro, it turns over every 90 days. There's $1 million every 90 days being passed through. And Mike
Pass through where?
passed through here in Alabama. There's somebody here.
In the whole state.
Right. There's somebody here who's growing and growing a quantity of it that California, this is where it's all going, is California. That's why he made that trip to make the deal to where he made the agreements of when he grew it, that they'd be able to take every bit that he gets for $2,500 to $3,000 a pound. And they said as many as you bring, we'll buy it. Rick's part in that, for hooking him up with his son, was that he gets $1,000 off each one.
Rick,
Right. Rick is supposed
now
to.
you said Rick had some kind of son that got arrested for
180
160.
pounds of hydro.
Where?
In California. All right, and the people in California paid him $80,000, you know, just to sit down, shut up, and keep rap for it. And anyway, they kicked his son out of California for 2 years. He's not allowed to even go in the state.
The law did?
Right, the law kicked him out. All right, and as far as I really know, that Rick's son, I believe what he told me is that he's in Virginia. You know, that was their first trip they took, was to go see his son when they took off from here.
So Rick went with him
Right.
for the last 8 days.
That's what Mike told me.
Okay.
All right.
So he's gone for 8 days.
For 8 solid days.
After the Lee
yeah.
County deal.
Right. About 4 days after the Lee County deal, or 3 days after that, he was gone. He needed that to where he can go and at least make that connection.
Okay.
All right. So he gets all that done, but when he comes back from all that traveling he's done and him paying for Rick going too, he's broke from paying all the forfeitures and all that shit too.
Okay.
All right. I ain't gonna lie, I was just about broke myself. You know, I only had maybe $1,000 left. And I just got fucked out of all my weed, really. I was going to try to make money where I never have to do that shit again. And anyways, he told me to get in the car. He says, let's go.
Now when was this?
This is when he got back. About the day after he got back.
Okay.
Colonel hollered at me, you know. It was like, hey, he says, who do you know? He said, we got to get one more person. He says, I need some more to finish up. He says, I already got the architect and the engineering down on the place that we're going to build it, the hydro laboratory at. He's like, I just need this last little bit that we're going to get here to make it where I can build it. And they're going to give me 15 plants to start it out. And then by then, we'll clone them when they get older and we'll make more money. He's like, that's all I'm wanting. He says, because he told me what it was, and what he's working up to is $1 million every 90 days. You know, and that's actually what he really had worked on in his guy. But he's even got the grow light, the little shit to plant them in and everything else. He's just waiting on that Rick's son to do one last thing for him. You know, he wouldn't ever tell me what that was. I think it was the braided plants, the little small hydro plants about like this. He's braiding them, that many of them. And then when he brought them over here, he said he was going to grow them a little bit and then clone them and then grow them. Because when you clone them, that keeps all the seeds from growing up in your hydros, what they were saying, and it just makes it better. You know? And they're charging like $5,000 a pound for this shit, really, is what they were telling me. And anyways, he said that he wanted to go do one more thing so he can get that where he can have enough to make his little old place that he was wanting to. And I was telling him that I was broke, and he's like, look, he says, we're not going to do nobody. He says, all we're going to do is I'm going to walk up there, I'm going to show him these little pieces of paper saying that what it was, this is what I was telling you earlier. Look on his computer. He said he kind of erased it out of his computer, but I don't believe it. But he made copies of Al Green when he made one of them search warrants, or some kind of piece of paper saying, you know, searching the place, you know, this, that, and the other. And he blanked it all out, put State of Alabama versus Butch Valerie, you know, and put down there on the rest to search your house and every contents in your safe, you know, lollydog. And he goes up, knocks on the dude's door, because he went to Ranger Joe's to get a little patch that says Agent.
Brooks is easily manipulated and can't say no to another job when he is broke. What he is describing with the fake search warrant is a federal offense, but since they have already murdered 2 people, that isn't much of a deterrent.
You know, well, he's got a drug enforcement hat. He went and bought a long sleeve shirt, you know, dark blue, looks like a cop.
So what was he wearing now?
He was wearing like a drug enforcement, you know, uniform.
Did it have drug agent on it?
Yeah, on his hat. He had drug enforcement.
What did it have on his shirt?
Agent.
Just agent.
Just agent right here.
On a blue shirt?
On a dark blue shirt.
T-shirt.
No, button-up shirt.
Button-up shirt.
Yeah. But I can tell you what happened to that one, man. I got rid of that. I burned it.
Okay.
But anyways, he walks up to the door, knocks on it. Guy answers the door. He walks inside, shows him the papers, you know.
Now, where are you?
I'm in the car.
You sure?
Oh, I'm positive. I swear to you. Because, see, I drove. The deal of it was that he wanted me to drive. That way he can just get out on the passenger side instead of having to switch out whenever he gets out and me go to the driver's side. You know, and I was like, all right. I drove up in the yard.
So why the police bit, Jimmy?
To get into the door.
Okay, but I mean,
he wanted to keep it because it was so close to town and so neighbors were so close. He wanted to keep it low down and less noise as possible. So what he had told me what he was going to do was go in there and he was going to get the man and leave the kid.
Whose idea was it to go to that house in the first place?
Well, this goes back to the Lee County deal. When I mentioned about that guy there, I said, and him and only this one in our own town here is the only this other one I know. And he's like, well, he said, let's go do this one up here, Opelika. And by the time we did that one, he got to thinking about the other place that I had told him.
So you had told him about Butch and the guy in Lee County.
Right, and he knew
Terry?
about.
Is that his name? That's what I'm talking about. Terry's his name. Ratliff, yeah. So you told him about Butch and Terry.
Right, because see, whenever I was telling him about it.
Do they know each other?
No. They don't
As
know.
far as you know, they don't know each other.
Right.
Okay.
All right, and see, as far as when I mentioned that guy's name, he's like, bingo. He says, I know them. He says, they sell that shit out of the back of that lot, don't they?
No, which one?
Butch.
Okay.
And I was like, damn, man, how'd you know that? He's like, I got my little insides, you know. And somebody on the inside here in the county is telling them shit like, you know, who's being watching about Metro and all this, because he's going to them people and telling them people that.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I never could get in that good to find out who that person was, but it might have been Rick, hell, I don't know. And, anyways, kind of rambled on there for a second. I forgot where the fuck I was.
Well, you was up to the point that he was walking up to the house.
Yeah.
And what the plan was supposed to be.
Right. The plan that was supposed to be, he was going to knock on the door. He made it to where it was about 9:30, where the kid should have been asleep. You know, that's the whole intention was the kid was in bed asleep. Don't fuck with him. You won't know nothing, he won't know nothing. He'll wake up and his daddy's just, either broke or gone with us. And get in there, everything looked like it was going good. All I seen the man standing there, and he comes out with the man handcuffed, throws him in the car.
Front or back?
In the back. In the back.
Handcuffed in the front or back?
Oh, handcuffed in his back.
In his back?
Yeah.
Hands behind him?
Right, hands behind him. Handcuffed him down, put him in the car. Goes back inside. He wasn't supposed to went back inside. And because as soon as he put him in, he closed the door and walked right back in there without telling me I'll be back or nothing, Comes back out. The fucking kid.
Is the kid cuffed or is he just walking?
No, he's just walking in. And I'm like, oh shit. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, he was in the living room. The kid wasn't in the living room, man.
Okay, what was he wearing? The kid.
I wanted to say it's like maybe the greatest looking shirt, kind of long sleeve. I know it was a long sleeve shirt, I really can't tell by the clothes.
Okay. What about the pants?
I just know he had some on.
Okay.
I didn't pay attention to what they were wearing.
Okay.
And because I was still tripping out, he's got a fucking kid with us. And he goes out there to the 4:30 morning, that spot that y'all know about and shit.
So y'all drive out there.
Right, I drive out there, get out of the car. Me and Michael Carruth talks first when we get out of the car. We leave him in the back seat still. And he was telling me about it. He's like, look, he says, I had to bring the kid too, lolly dog. He's like, he was in the living room, I had no choice, He's like, well, he says, let's get the man out and tell him if you don't give us the money at the house, that we'll just do his kid right here, right out here in this isolated place. He gets the man out, walks him away from the car.
William Boyer, the 12-year-old son of Forrest Boyer, was taken with them. Brooks describes how they were supposed to use the son to force his father to comply with their demands. As with the other robbery, it ends in murder. Brooks and Carruth shot William Boyer in the head 3 times and then slit his father's throat. Forrest managed to survive and went for help. Michael David Carruth was sentenced to death on December 3, 2004. Jimmy Brooks was convicted of capital murder, robbery, burglary, and attempted murder. On April 14, 2004, he was sentenced to death by lethal injection.